Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. I think it's a much anticipated speech that everybody is looking forward to listen to. Because don't point at me. Honourable is already pointing at me. But I'll tell you one thing. Let's start from one page. Today's Fiji Sun says something about a very big message by the opposition leader. Cut civil service. Where do you start from then? At one stage, you want the government to run properly, and you cut civil service. There's 34,000 civil servants in this country. Listen to me. There's 7,000 civil servants in this country, multiplied by 10, 340,000 votes. And you will not get a single vote. Believe me now. Now, come on, which party you belong to, man? No, paper is because the paper said, believe me. Yes, Fiji Sun said that. And we didn't believe Fiji Sun until today. Seriously.
Carry on, proceed to your speech.
I'll carry on. I'll make you accountable tonight. Honorable Sharma? Oh, it was. Okay. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Leader of Opposition, respected Honorable Members of the House, ladies and gentlemen, viewers watching online from different parts of the world. Are you watching me? Fine. Good afternoon, Pula Vidaka. Namaste to you all. Mr. Speaker, I rise to give my contribution and support of the 2026-27 budget. Mr. Speaker, the 2026-27 budget reflects a coalition government's vision of a stronger, more prosperous, and a more united Fiji. It recognizes the lasting national development it built upon three enduring pillars: a strong economy, a cohesive communities, and a shared national identity. Mr. Speaker, when the Minister of Finance said about this new budget is a new budget, they were complaining about Biman's budget, Honorable Biman's budget. Yes. You know, when a child grows, he's first given a small dose of something. Then it comes to the next level and third level. And we have come to the fourth level. We are giving a dosage to this country that you have never expected. And I'll tell you what, deficit doesn't mean business grows with loans. You have never been a businessman. You have never been a business. Right? You have never been a business. And you'll never grow in a business. And you can be, I'll tell you, you'll exit in the next election. We are investing in programs that foster inclusion, a mutual respect, a social cohesion across our diverse communities. We are preserving our culture, heritage, and artistic traditions. Not only are symbols of our past, but strategic assets that enrich our national identity, strengthen our tourism, create economics, opportunities, and inspire future generations. Who are you talking about? You were the same guy sitting in the Great Eastern Hotel and commenting about Kayum. Hey? Oh, yes. Yeah. What are you commenting about now? Together, these investments ensure that every Fijian, regardless of ethnicity, religion, or cultural background, don't laugh. You don't even know what laughing means. Background could contribute and benefit from our nation's development. Mr. Speaker said, let me start with public enterprise. Portfolio public enterprise are more than a commercial entity. Now you are like a school students, listen. Hey, you were hogwashing 16 years, right? Public enterprise are more than a commercial entities. They are strategic national assets that drive economic growth, create employment, and deliver essentials.
Can just interrupt? We've got a long way to go.
Yes.
So, can you please allow the minister to speak
Yes.
unimpeded? Thank you. Carry on speaking.
Honourable Speaker, this is my third page, there's 17 more pages to go. And let them have patience. The services and generate returns that benefit all Fijians. This budget reinforces the coalition government's commitment to strengthening these institutions through allocation of 5.7 million to the Ministry of Public Enterprises. With significant public investments comes an equally significant responsibility. The government, through Ministry of Public Enterprises, is committed to ensuring that our 13 public enterprises operate with the highest standards of governance, which was never there before. Accountability and commercial discipline. Our former Commissioner Northern would understand how things were not operating well under your term as a minister, Commissioner Northern. We monitor not only their financial performance, but a broader economic and a social value that will create through employment, infrastructure, service delivery, and national development. Now, may I say, Mr. Speaker, we have been going through several reports, 8 years old, and these committees were running around Fiji, reading the 8-year report. How do you run a balance sheet of a company? 8 years old, you are checking on all those 8 years balance sheet. As a commercial company, as a commercial manager, as a commercial man, you should read the report every year, immediately. And I'll tell you one thing, that was the downfall of the Fiji First. 8 years report never came out. And you are now touring around the whole country, reading the report of 8 years old. My God. Our objective is very clear: to transform public enterprise into a high-transforming, financially sustainable organization that delivers strong returns. Don't drink your water. Osmati, you are drying up. Better services, lasting value, and the people of Fiji, that what they deserve. Mr. Speaker, over the past year, we have advanced a comprehensive program to governance reform. With 16 years, you guys had wasted your time. Who's here? The coalition government re-establishes the Higher Salaries Commission, and this Honourable House has approved amendments to the Schedule 1 of the Higher Salaries Commission, Act 2023, extending the Commission's oversight to 8 additional public entities. This important reform has strengthened the transparency, accountability, consistency across the public enterprise sector. To further strengthen the governance, the ministry is designing a board performance framework that will introduce a clear performance expectations, strengthen accountability, and reinforce the principles of good corporate governance across the whole public enterprise. Vinaka, you agree? Yeah? Vinaka. Mr. Speaker, sir, the ministry has also worked closely with the board to remove long-standing barriers that have constrained investment expansion and innovation. From resolving strategic land issues at the post-Fiji Limited, advancing renewable energy initiatives at PEFCO, supporting productive diversification at the Unit Trust of Fiji Management, and to progressing the Fiji Coconut Millers Koya project. Our focus has been unlocking and growing opportunities and creating a new revenue streams. Equally important, we have broken down the institutional silos for too long that public enterprise operated independently, despite serving the same industries and the national priorities. Today, we are fostering a greater collaboration, encouraging resource sharing, and creating a strategic partnership across all our portfolios. The recent fuel supply chain provided a clear example of this collaborative approach in our action. The ministry brought together public enterprise and key stakeholders from the aviation, tourism, and transport sectors to openly discuss the challenges affecting their respective operations and to coordinate practical solutions. Even major operators such as Fiji Airways, Fiji Airports acknowledged that this was the first time under my ministry and as a minister, can you clap? That we have brought everybody together under one roof. And I must thank Honorable Gavoka, the DPM, that had facilitated this program, that no people were wanting to see eye to eye. We facilitated. And I must thank the Honorable Prime Minister for facilitating that as well. Now, building on this momentum, the ministry is establishing a dedicated performance oversight framework to provide focused support to underperforming entities and accelerate reform and improve operational performance. These initiatives are complemented by investments in digital transformation. Mr. Speaker said, I'll just go very straightforward. I've got several more minutes, but I'd like to go in and emphasize on what the Honorable Prime Minister has done and helped move forward public enterprise. He has initiated a project which is a shipbuilding in this country. The Australian government has given budget support. And I must thank our Prime Minister because he has done something in the Western Division where we have the PW yard. Australian government is coming to make things happen. And we'll have not only a shipbuilding yard for our country, but it will be something for the entire South Pacific nation. Mr. Prime Minister said, thank you very much for what you have done. No? Nobody could even see all that. Hey, say loudly, man. If you have to say, speak loudly. Otherwise, don't speak. Come on. Just Mata, you are. Anyway, onward also. Anyway, coming to the. Look, I've got two other portfolios to talk about. If the Honorable Speaker will give me more about some other time, minutes, or I'll walk, otherwise I'll finish with this 5 minutes or 6 minutes ago. Okay, okay. My grandchild always says to me, okay. So okay. Anyway, Honorable Speaker say, now coming back to, like, I've got a written speech here, but I've got a lot of things to others say. But look, coming back to public enterprise, we've done that. We are moving forward. I'm trying to combine, there's so many entities where there were reputations. PG Rice, Cochrane Millers, we are trying to now rationalize, bring them all together under one roof so that we can make sure that we don't spend money in duplicacy. This is called business planning. Right? Number 2, multi-ethnic affairs. Who's talking? What is? Okay. No. So, multi-ethnic affairs. Multi-ethnic affairs was disbanded by Benimana government and your government on the side. Right? It was under Garase government that we had that multi-ethnic affairs. Honorable Prime Minister, I must thank him that he reintroduced multi-ethnic affairs in this country. And we are now giving services to all the minority groups in this country. We are giving money and funding for all the projects, including to Ethiopians. This is a shame on the last government. A shame on the last government that you disbanded. Listen, man, I'll tell you one thing. In the history of this country, you will be remembered the last. Because what I'm saying, you were supposed to be the custodian of the minorities. And yet, you became only saving to yourself in this country. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'll tell you what. We have given almost through the government budget almost $3.5 million in the last 3 years. This budget, we're giving another 2 million plus. And I'll tell you what, this small dollars that goes a long way. Long way, right? When you guys talk about honorable, oh, okay. No, sit down. Oh, I sit down. Okay. Okay. What I'm saying is this. Now, multi-ethnic affairs has done its way, is done, its job. Then we come to culture and arts. I have been given the privilege to be the Minister of Culture and Arts as well. We have heritage as well. We have been given a budget to improve the Levuka heritage. And we have been negotiating with the World Heritage Organization as well. And I'll tell you one thing, Levuka and other heritage premises, including the house here, will all be improved and given a full funding. Now, I'm saying one thing to you guys, honorable ministers, and of course, opposition leaders, opposition members. Please, don't try to criticize this budget because it's an election year. Nobody's going to hear you. I have gone to Levuka, I have gone to Lambasa, I have gone to Tribunity, I have gone to everywhere, and they tell me, please, tell them, please don't stand. Opposition, don't stand, don't waste your time. And I'll tell you one thing, we'll see, and I challenge you, half of you will not return back. We're not going to say.